Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. Not much to build off of, got 5 albums to go through, let's go through the 5 albums as quickly as possible. And we start with some good thrash metal core-y stuff with All Out War and their new album Celestial Rot, which I initially misread as Celestial Riot when I first found out about it. Either way, cool as album title, and it gets the lowest grade of the episode with a B-. I think it's really good thrash metal core for the most part. I think my main issue with it is there's really good instrumentation, very fast-paced stuff. Not enough stylus for my liking, but that's fine. I like the drum work, I like the bass work. I like a lot of the production, very raw and very densely focused in times as well. The lyricism seems to be... Well, I couldn't really find much on it, to be honest. Maybe themes about death, I'm not really sure. Religious war, maybe. Not really fully certain. I couldn't really find many places to read up on it. The structuring, though, is my biggest issue with it, as so many of the songs are really short. I don't think the longest song is more than 3 minutes long. I could be wrong about that, and I will put a disclaimer via the magic of my editing skills with a Z at the end, with 3 Zs, so you know how skilled I am. But yeah, I thought it was really good for the most part. Performances were really great too. I don't really have a peg on any of the members' names, but they all did a really good job. Yeah, very serviceable, above average thrash metal core stuff. Something worth checking out if you just want something fast and punchy and in your face, and relentless with the pacing, admittedly. Although it will leave you feeling a bit unsatisfied, but it's a good snack of an album, so definitely go check it out. Next we go to Black Wolf for their new album Thieves and Liars. Black Wolf are more of a sludgy, doomy, stonery metal act, and in contrast to All Out War, Black Wolf's album is a lot fucking longer. Even to the point of it being unnecessarily so. However, I'm still giving this album a B. I thought it was really solid. It's handled with the sort of charisma and personality you need to handle a doom stoner sort of style album, and I like that it leans more into the stonery side as well. It's got some really good riffs on it. The lyricism is out there and weird and a bit abstract in its themes of like sort of spacey stuff, and I think stuff about the afterlife. I'm not really fully sure on that. The performance is pretty solid. I quite like the production as well. Very clean for an album of this particular style, and again, the structuring is sort of an issue for me because it is very bloody long. I think one of the songs is just like a 7-minute or something instrumental piece. Not something we really needed, but you know what? Really good if you like your weird, sludgy, story, doomy stuff. And I occasionally like it, you know, and it's good that albums like this pop up on occasion. So yeah, if you're into that, maybe give this one a spin. Next up, and I know I'm not doing locations really anymore, but next up we are going to Australia for Blonde Revolver and their debut album Good Girls Go to Heaven, Bad Girls Go Everywhere. And I'm giving this one an A. I really fucking enjoyed this one. Much like with All Out War's album, it's very short, but it's very goddamn good. It packs so much. I think it's the shortest album of the past weekend that I listened to as well, but it just packs in so much. It's got this really edgy sort of like feminist riot girl punk attitude towards it. There's 6 members, by the way. That's 6. All of them are indeed female, and all of them are indeed blonde, so that makes the band name actually work really well because the revolver has 6 bullet thingies in it. I know guns, me. I play shooters quite frequently as well. Don't know how that works, but yeah, no, I really fucking love how this is presented. Lyricism touching on themes like sexuality and some stuff about abortion, I think, and individuality as well. Really well handled. Your typical feminist themes, but again, done quite well. The instrumentation is short and punchy, but also very eclectic in its delivery as well. The production's really good. I like how raw and open-ended a lot of it feels. The performance is fantastic. I couldn't really get a handle on band names, and there's 6 members, so I'm not going to be able to remember them all anyway. But they're all great as well. Love the chemistry between them. Structure, unlike with All Out War, this one isn't really a deal-breaker because, again, while shorter than All Out War's album, it still packs in so much stuff in a short time frame. So I definitely recommend seeking this one out. I thought this album kicked ass. Speaking of albums that kick ass, next we have Sunny War with her new album Anarchist Gospel. Sunny War is a solo artist with a few guest musicians. This is her 6th or 7th album, depending on the sources you find out, because the first 2 albums were self-released, and I count self-released albums as an artist's albums because everything else since then has been on a label. But I quite like this. This was a sort of like folk, punky, bluesy, country sort of thing. I'm giving this a B+. I quite liked a lot of the elements to it. I think Sunny herself is a great guitarist and a really good vocalist as well. I love her dulcet tones. This is just a very vibesy album. You know, basically picture Genesis Owusu with his album Swelling of Note from 2021. Just listen to that album anyway, it's great. But picture like a female version of that, essentially, and you kind of get this. I like the story that's told, which is basically just trying to deal with your more self-destructive and negative side and seeing if you can coexist with it. It's a really good theme to pick on and a very unique one that you don't really see often. I think it comes more often if you see a solo artist like Sunny Ward doing something like that. Production's great too. I assume she does all of that on her own. She has an absolutely fantastic handle behind the booth. I love how the sound is mixed. Very, very pleasant on the ear. Structurally wise, it's pretty good as well. It's not overly long. There's 14 songs on it though, so it is quite a big album. I think it might be the longest album of last weekend, but yeah, in contrast to Blonde Revolver's album. But really, really good stuff. It packs in so many twists and turns on occasion. I guess part of me is a bit bothered by the fact that it is a bit long, which is why it's not getting an A- or higher, but I still think it's a great album, instrumentally, lyrically, thematically. Really, really good shit on it. I don't know, I wish I came away with it more. I have gone over the album a couple of times, but still I recommend listening to it, because a B+ is not the worst grade in the world, so yeah. Definitely recommend from me. And finally, we have Young Fathers with their new album, Heavy Heavy. This is a band I'm hearing about for the first time, which, like pretty much every band in this video, or debutees for me. This is Young Fathers' 5th album, from what I believe, and I'm giving it the only A+ grade of this episode. I liked it. They're a lo-fi, sort of indie, art poppy, electronica group sort of thing. Very experimental pop sound at its core. But I really liked it. You know how I was mentioning Genesis Owusu with Sunny Ward's album? I mentioned it again here for Young Fathers, but like with 3 people. There's 3 vocalists, all of them absolutely phenomenal in their delivery and their tone. I love the performances so much. I love the beats used as well. Very original feeling, very vibrant, very full of life. The lyricism touches on some pretty realistic themes as well, like police racism and political racism and queerness as well in some areas as well, homophobia. Very realistically handled themes, are very well handled themes too. Very great storytelling in places. Production's absolutely gorgeous as well. I love how the beats are handled. I love how it's presented. It's textured so wonderfully. I feel like the structuring again is the tiniest issue with it though, because quite a bit of it is repetitive in places, but it's not horribly repetitive. Like, it's just a good collection of noise essentially, but it's really good noise that you want to hear. Not just noise because it's got words in it as well, you know, really good words. I like the words used. But yeah, expect a little bit of repetitiveness, especially in the second half of the album, but I still highly fucking recommend that you go listen to it. It's really, really good. Easily my favourite album of last weekend. Possibly going to be in my top 10 of the year, top 30 of the year at least. I quite liked a lot of it, so yeah, you might too. And that will about do it for another episode of this. The order of albums I would recommend is All Out War, Black Wolf, Sunny War. I just realised there's 2 artists with the name War in them. Blonde Revolver and Young Fathers, but as always, listen to all of these at least once. Young Fathers' album is so good. But yeah, that'll about do it from me. Next thing you'll see me for will be tomorrow night, the return of PVW vs AVW after the surprisingly weirdly good Heat of the Moment show. I mean, it wasn't the greatest card, but it had some solid highlights. And then next thing after that will be Saturday night and then Sunday night as well, by extension, more streaming my Let's Play of Shadow Warrior Uno. And then between that, hopefully Friday Night Review this weekend, because there wasn't one last weekend. So, you know, shit happens sometimes. And that'll be it. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.